Good morning, everyone, and welcome. Let's start our class off together today with the prayer. Heavenly Father, Divine Mother, friend, beloved God, our great masters, Jesus Christ, Babaji Krishna, Layadi Mahashaya, Swami Sri Yukteswarji, beloved Guru Deva, Paramahansa Yogananda Ji, saints of all religions, we bow at thy feet. Bless our satsang today as we seek to attune ourselves to thy eternal light, thy eternal joy within our hearts. We are thine. Receive us and bless us today and always. Om Shanti Shanti. Let's hear a song by Swamiji, Many Hands Make a Miracle, which is the theme of today's class. And then we'll see a very short video clip from the program in Gurgaon, which was just happened last Sunday. We'll see that along with the song, and then we'll hear from Swamiji as well on this topic. Welcome again, friends.
Many hands make a miracle. Let's all join hands together. Life on earth is so wonderful. When people laugh and dance and struggle as friends, then all their dreams achieve their ends. Many hands make a miracle. People climbing together. Soon we reach to the pinnacle of every mountain peak we hazard as one. We lift our hands to welcome the sun.
The real attunement is a matter of our inner consciousness, wherever we are, those people who are trying to accomplish the same ends. But if you can live in the same place, then that certainly helps. But to accomplish the same ends, to work together, I've seen, this is one of the wonderful things about living in a large group of people, is that you can see people living in different ways and seeing whether there's any kind of pattern that they establish that makes living in a certain way more spiritually valuable than living in another way. I've seen that the people who come thinking in terms of what's in it for me, what can I do, how can I advance my own cause, that they, after many years, still aren't anywhere. People who think in terms of, well, I'll come here and take what I can for me. They don't have that kind of spirit that enables them to take the greatest advantage of the blessing they've been given in being allowed by God to live in a spiritual environment. And those people, on the other hand, who think in terms of Ananda is my work. Ananda is my mission. Serving Master and working with other devotees and living for a cause that is greater than myself. That this is my security. I've seen that people who really have that attitude are somehow always taken care of. The doors open for them in perhaps sometimes inexplicable ways, but they always do. And success, if we measure it in terms not of how much we earn or what position we hold or what other people say about us, but if we measure it in terms, in true terms of the inner peace that we are gaining, the inner happiness that we feel, the greater love, the greater attunement with God and Guru, these things are the real wealth. And when we have that, we find everything else seems to flow. It's, again, an aspect of the subject of magnetism, that when our attitude is right, then we draw to ourselves everything as it ought to be.
Good morning again, friends. It's a joy to welcome you, and I want to say happy 20th anniversary to all of you, because Ananda India is celebrating 20 years of seva, of dedication, of meditation, of reaching out to others. And we've had two wonderful programs already, one in Gurgaon and one in Panchil and Delhi. And this weekend, we'll have a very large program in Pune, all of them with Nayaswami's Jyotishan Devi Ji. So happy anniversary to all of you, and I hope to see you. If I haven't already in Delhi or Gurgaon, I hope to see you in Pune. When Swamiji came across the country in America to meet Master, he had in his heart and his soul and his mind that he wanted to find God. But he had also something else in his heart that he wanted to share with others. And this has been the theme of Ananda. How can we surely find God ourselves, but how can we share? When I look at the wonderful programs, and they've really been beautifully done. Congratulations to all of you who have served. And you saw that mini video just now of the devotees in Gurgaon preparing for the program there. But you might ask, how do these programs happen? How does Ananda happen? How did Ananda get started? How have we been sustained over the years in Europe and America, and many other, of course, in India, and many other parts of the world? How have our centers started? How have the meditation groups started? How have the communities started? How have they been sustained? How have they become successful? How have we been doing online programs here in India and in America and in Europe? How have we done home study? How have we reached out to the widow mothers in Brindaban? How have we helped orphanage children? How have we done education for life in different schools? How has all of this happened? How have we done outreach, going all around the world, really, with Master's teachings? Well, many hands have made miracles happen. And Swamiji, right from the beginning, he just offered to anyone who wanted to, had the willingness, a desire to serve. I'm sure many of you have had that. I surely had that. I didn't come to Ananda just for meditation. I came because I read Autobiography of a Yogi. And the first words in my mind were, everybody should read this book. Everybody should know about these teachings. Everybody should meditate. And you probably had that in your mind as well. But so we look at Ananda and we look at these teachings and our techniques and all that's happened. It's happened. Swamiji had the vision. He got that from Master, and Swamiji passed that out to all of us. And he asked us to join him. He asked people. I saw him here in India. I saw him in Europe. I saw him in America, where he asked people, will you help me to spread Master's work? Will you join hands with us? Will you move forward with us in dedication and loyalty and commitment and serving however you can. And at the very beginning, it was a time of kind of unsurety for a lot of people, the beginning of Ananda India, I'm speaking of. And we came with Swamiji and we believed in him. I mean, I served with him in Europe, I served with him in America. He sent me to African countries, to Australia. I believed that he was in tune with Master, and that's what he was giving us, the opportunity to join hands to make miracles happen. And so when we came here and to India in 2003, I came in 2005, there was so much to do, and there was so many things to get involved in. There was calling people, doing promotions, setting up the center. We have one center then, Gurgaon. Now we have 14 after all these years, and it's only growing by the day, and meditation groups and online and home study and people traveling around India. This is teaching. This is just what Swamiji wanted. And so he had, I think he created jobs for people. He said, will you help me with this, with my books? Will you help me get on television programs? Will you set up a store? We had a bookstore that we sold Swamiji's books. And will you go around India? Will you do this? Will you help with this? Will you help with that? And he put out an invitation, and many people accepted that invitation. Will you live in the ashram with us? Will you help serve in the ashram? He kept putting on invitation, and that invitation is still there. I was just meeting with some wonderful devotees in Patna who have set up a beautiful meditation group, and at their home, a place for the meditation group to meet. And I said to them, we're relying on you. We have confidence in you. We've known you for a few years. You've shown that you want to serve. They have ideas. They've put the finances in themselves to create a very beautiful place where people can come and meditate. At one point, they had seemed like 50 or 60 kids in there. They were younger adults. They were teaching them, and Ananda is about sharing, joining hands and sharing with others, not taking it for yourself only. And we encouraged them. I said, go for it. Don't just wait for somebody else to come there and teach. You help those people. We'll help you to learn how to. But this is the way of Ananda, that sharing, giving, helping others. And at the beginning, it was, we didn't know what all would take place, but we had confidence in Swamiji. I'm smiling because when we went to Europe, this was 1984. I was 28 years old at the time, and I hadn't been anywhere with Ananda. I hadn't been anywhere, period, except for in California. And Swamiji wanted to start a work in Europe. He invited me to join, and I said yes. And we were asking him, how was it going to be? And, I surely wasn't confident in myself. And he said, well, either we'll do a great work there or you'll have a nice vacation. I remember those words. We didn't have any vacation, I can tell you that. But now, after 35 plus years, there's a wonderful work there in Europe. But the beginning of Ananda India, people weren't sure. There are all these Westerners coming in, and Swamiji, and we didn't really have much. And we had one ashram house, B10 by 8, for those of you up in the north, or some of you have been there no matter what. It didn't look like much was going to happen, but Master's power was flowing through there. Swamiji often said, it's not my work, it's not your work, it's Master's work, and it's Babaji's work. That power kept flowing, like Master told Dr. Lewis when Master stayed at the YMCA in America, when he first landed there, first got there, and he had a little room, didn't know anybody, And Dr. Lewis visited him in that room at the Y. And Master he was so confident. He kept saying, yes, doctor, it's going to be big. It's going to be big. And doctor looked around the room and, he looked at Master and he didn't see much happening. And he didn't know how it was going to happen. Master said, you just mark my words, doctor, it's going to be big. And when we came here to India, you could feel the power. You didn't know how it was going to happen. But what was so touching is people stepped up and they started helping, even though you couldn't see much. They could feel the blessings of a direct disciple coming here with students who had been with him for some decades and dedicating our lives to Master's work here in India. And Swamiji so often said, I want the Indians doing this work. We have to have the Indians. It's India. And we said, well, that's nice, Swamiji, but nobody's here yet. But one by one, people started coming. He was so happy that people joined hands with us, and people started coming and then bringing flowers for the altar, bringing prasad, helping with the finances to grow the work, helping us to be able to go around India and teach. People moved into the ashram and helped in that way. There were many kind deeds that happened in those early days, even though people, they looked around, they really couldn't see much of what was going to happen, but they had trust in Master. And there were many kindnesses that happened. I didn't know anybody here, but now I have so many wonderful friends. I mean, it's spiritual family, and we've all joined hands to make a Master's work here in India happen. I was remembering some of the things that happened at some of the centers. I was remembering in Gurgaon that one of the center leaders, Jayanti, I'm sure Jayanti's watching this, when we were trying to create a center in the basement of B10 by 8, because we didn't have the big center that we have now, we had to clean that place out, and there have been books stored in boxes for who knows how long and all kinds of stuff there. And we had a deep cleaning. I just remember just going for hours cleaning that place out and just covered with dust and dirt, and me and Jayanti, and I didn't know her that well then, but she answered the invitation to come and help. And afterwards, I thought, when I saw her leaving, she was just covered with dirt and dust. And I thought, she will never come back again. But she did. She did over and over. Now she's one of the center leaders. And that's what it takes. And you just say, all right, this is what needs to be done. I'll help with this. And then when we got the large center that we have now in Gurgaon, many people benefited from that. It didn't look like it looks now at all. It was completely hollowed out. It lacked paint, carpet. It just had a very unclean, old vibration. And everybody got in there, cleaned it up, painted it, paid for the carpet, someone paid for the chairs, someone got the ACs, whatever was needed. There were many people helped to make that center and are helping. Now, I'm not just talking about the past, are helping. I saw those devotees there at the program. Everybody happy, everybody serving, everybody trying to make it more and more beautiful. And I always remember in Panchil, Delhi, that the place that we have now is very beautiful, but it was given by a member. It was donated, the use of that place, by a member. And this is things no one says. And that member also helped to fix it up so it's beautiful the way it is now, and put those murtis in the back garden. This was someone who wanted to share Master's teachings and to help Ananda. This was from one individual. And I was remembering it at Mumbai when I moved there for a year. Someone came forward and paid for the apartment that I lived in, and anything big or small or whatever. I lived there for 9 months, and I had a wonderful time. Everybody rallied around to help. And then Shurja Narayani came in. They said, okay, we'll help. I passed the baton to them. This is what it takes. And finally in Chennai, we used to have a very small center. Now we have a big temple coming up on in 2 weeks. We're dedicating that temple in Chennai. But these things start small, typically with one person says, I would like have a meditation group. And then it's a small group, and then it gets bigger because you need a bigger space. You get a center, then it gets bigger and bigger. And this is how Ananda Village started. It started in San Francisco at Swamiji's apartment. Then he used to go up to the north to, have some seclusion time. He thought, oh man, maybe I'll buy some land. And, and then everything started happening from there. But in Chennai, it was a very small apartment, as I recall. And the temple was in the living room. Now, this happens a lot in Ananda. You start where you can. Temple was beautiful. The living room was very beautiful. And but it was small, maybe, I don't know, 20 people, 30 or so could fit in there. And I used to stay, when I would go down there, I'd go and help them out. I'd stay in the little room in the back. There was a little bedroom back there. And that was also the boutique, by the way. And so then also in the temple, the choir would be singing. They'd be practicing and setting up for the satsang. And then somebody would come and straighten out the books in the room I was in the boutique. And it was just wonderful. This is what it takes. Everybody wanting to help. And I remember I would come out, every song they would sing, they would be practicing, and nobody had heard Swamiji's songs before. It was all new. Every song they would sing, I would come out of the room and say, yay, wonderful, because I knew the songs and they were getting them just right. And then they would stay later and later and just be setting up things and on. And I would come out. I remember one time I came out, I said, it's getting kind of late here. It's like 11:30 at night. They had been there for hours. I said, when do you people go home? And I think it was Vinit, Brahmachari Vinit, he looked at me, he says, this is our home. In a very sweet way, but I thought, he's right. That's our home. Ananda's our home. We're serving our guru. This is our family. These are our guru bhais. We're serving our guru's work to make it happen. And as we do that, we'll see that many things, we're just at the beginning of Ananda India. 20 years is really just very much in the beginning. There's so much more that we can do, so many more places people can come to, and centers and meditation groups and education for life around India, and all the various things, and more places where we can serve others who need help. And there's so much more we can do. This is the beginning, but it's a good beginning. And as we go forward with our hand in Master's hand and Babaji's and our gurus and in each other's, you can't go off by yourself. This many hands make miracles happen is the theme song of Ananda. This is how Ananda was built. This is how it's sustained. And this is how we'll go forward. God bless you all. I'll ask Natindra to join me now on the screen with a few questions.
Thank you, Dhyanaji. We have a few questions. The first one, Dhyanaji, is why is it that working with Guru Bhais gives more joy rather than working with colleagues at office or perhaps relatives at home?
Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it? It's vibrational. There's a joyful vibration, isn't there, in people who are your Guru Bhais, typically, not everybody, but typically. And you feel good. Even you feel good when you walk in the door, somebody greets you. Oh, hello, so nice. Oh, I haven't seen you in so long. Oh, how are you? How is your family? The person immediately cares about you, and not, oh, look at me, where's my chair? They don't have a chair for me. And I'm just, isn't it true that immediately the person is caring for you? Then also they have Master's vibrations. You feel uplifted. You feel, just by sitting by them, being with them, serving with them, meditating with them, laughing with them, you feel uplifted. You go to work, there's all kinds of people there. You don't know who the people are, but there's some saints around there as well. And typically like is attracting like. But, you know, a lot of people are just, they have a heavy ego and they have a lot of problems. They have worries, they have doubts, they have fears, they have delusions, they have attachments, they have desires, and you're sitting with that energy. But remember, Swamiji was walking down the streets of San Francisco once. He was going to meet a musical composer. There, he said there were all kinds of strange energies around coming out of those buildings. He was on a main street in San Francisco, and I lived in San Francisco for some time at the ashram. I can say there were a lot of strange energies, but he said in his heart, he just mentally was chanting Sri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. And he sang it the whole street till he got to where he needed to go to. So in your mind, just always have the companionship with God. No matter, people are, you know, it's not our world. That's the thing. As long as you're depending on those coworkers to give you joy and do the right thing, it's a delusion. Don't expect so much from people. I think the best thing is give. As Swamiji said, if you're giving from your heart or giving from your energy, your vibration, then it just won't be so hard on you. If you're waiting for somebody and they don't give you the right, and you know, don't be a weakling waiting for people to make you happy. Create happiness. That's what I think. Go out and create it. Be happy yourself. Master said, with the buck shots of your smiles or something, just give people that. Be a smile millionaire, not overly, but just be centered in yourself. Don't expect so much from the world. Expect it from yourself and from God and gurus, and that will sustain you.
Thank you, Dhyanaji. The next one is, how can I be more harmonious and perhaps less judgmental in serving with others?
Now, I think that really needs to be discussed. I mean, we could do a workshop on that, actually, because I've seen that a lot of people just they just don't work well on a team. I don't know quite what it is. It's cultural, maybe, but America was built on people working together, and Ananda certainly is on teamwork and team spirit, and not so much hierarchy. I'm in charge of you and I tell you what to do. And I've heard that from people. I don't think it's right. You know, there's 300 people under me. Why aren't they your team? Why isn't that your team? You know, they're under me. It just doesn't. I mean, when you go to your grave, who's going to be under you? Maybe more people in the grave, but I mean, really, these are things you need to start letting go of. I have 300 coworkers. Doesn't that sound better than under me? It just doesn't feel right. So anyway, I forgot the question now. I went on a tangent. What were you asking about?
Yeah, how to be more harmonious and
Yeah. So I would say have less ego and you'll be more harmonious. Anytime my idea. They have to do what I want. I want the chairs like this. I want, why? Tomorrow they'll be different. So I think just start letting go a bit, more and more as you can. As you meditate, definitely you start letting go. It's just not as important to you to have your way, to have the last say, to make everybody look at you. It's just like, who are you anyway? So you come into this lifetime with certain karma, but you can work it out. You created it. You can work it out. So be more with people who are more joyful, more humble, more serviceful, more selfless. It will help you a lot. And I'm not talking about you, Natindra, because I've seen you over the years and you don't have that. You know, you're just very serviceful. First person in the room is Natindra serving. So that's what you want. You want people who teach by example. Get people who you feel are a good example and watch them. Swamiji gave the definition of an acharya, light bearer at Ananda village. He said, we watch people. And the person said, well, what do you watch? Give a good talk or what? He said, no. He said, we watch them to see if in the midst of their own trials and tribulations, are they still happy and willing to serve others? Or have they stopped it and said, no, now it's me, it's all about me? And you see that the people that serve, I mean, look at Jyotish and Daviji. I mean, they've been traveling since August the 9th. One country to the next, one city to the next. I've never heard them once complain. It's a beautiful example. Watch people. Watch how much they're giving to others instead of saying, what about me? Watch them and learn. And as you do that, you'll feel that, this is what Master came, these are his teachings. It's not just go sit in the closet and meditate. It's like, what about your life, your attitudes, your energy, you've got to start bringing it more into daily life. As you do that, you feel so much joy because you've released the ego. What a wonderful feeling.
Thank you, Dhyanaji. One last question. We are up on time, but quickly. How does Seva help in our meditations?
Well, Master has said Seva helps your meditation, meditation helps your work. Now, I found that sometimes I could meditate. I mean, I'm saying generally meditate really, really well. Other times I couldn't, but I could always serve well. Isn't that interesting? So, and I could always put out energy, but my meditation, sometimes I couldn't bank on the meditation. I could bank on the seva because I had high energy, I had focus, and I had willingness. The other interesting thing is after serving, you have so much, whose energy is it? It's Divine Mother's energy, Master's power flowing through you in the talk, in the yoga class, and the setting up the chairs, and the prasad, and the making, whatever. You just feel this energy flowing, isn't it? That's so healing. It's so uplifting. It's so purifying. It powers you. And the other thing is that after that, you go to meditate. Wow. You have so much more energy, focus, joy. You go to meditate, boom. And you can meditate so much better. It's very interesting. The lower the energy, the worse your meditation is. The higher the energy, the higher the joy level, the more the focus, you're better. That's what you use in meditation, isn't it? It's the same thing. So if you do that in your seva, and I'm not talking about getting all restless and nervous and I got to do more seva, and I save you. I remember Swamiji asked me once, he said, will you come down and help me with this particular job? I said, yeah, I'm coming, because I lived close to him. It was about 9:00 at night. And I ran down there, and he said, oh, thank you so much for coming. I said, only if I were dead would I not come down here. And he said, relax. It's not that big of a deal. So you also have to have relaxation. You can't just, yes, sir, I'm going to do it. And it just, where's the joy? So I think if you combine the joy with the willingness, with enthusiasm, with relaxation, with all that, you can't help but really feel God's joy, feel God's energy flowing through you. And finally, just to say again, we do that, as we do that together, we all grow. It's like a big wave pushing everybody forward because we're all doing it together. Try by yourself. I've tried that. I didn't get very far. That's all I'll say. God bless you all. And happy 20th anniversary. Thank you, Natindra. Bye-bye.